The ISO number tells us how sensitive the film or digital sensor is to light. This is commonly referred to as the ISO speed. A film that needs lots of light to form an image would be called a slow film, whilst a film that needs less light would be called a fast film. The ISO 100 is an example of a slow speed. The ISO 1600 is an example of a high speed. Both slow and high ISOs have their advantages and disadvantages. The advantage of a low ISO is that it offers better image quality. This means that the images shot on low ISOs will have low grain or noise, high color saturation and higher sharpness. If we want to get the very best image quality out of the camera, we will set it to its base ISO setting, which is usually the ISO 100. The disadvantage of low ISOs is that they need lots of light, which means that we may need to use a tripod, or that the shutter speed required to shoot at a slow ISO may not be fast enough to freeze motion. The main advantage of a high ISO is that it does not need so much light to form an image, which enables you to shoot in low light conditions or use faster shutter speeds to freeze subjects in motion. The main disadvantage is that these gains are achieved at the expense of image quality. High ISO images can be grainy or noisy, less saturated, suffer from reduced dynamic range and appear less sharp. ISO film speeds use the following scale: 100, 200, 400, 800, 1600, etc. Notice that as we go from the left to the right of the scale, the numbers are doubling. If we move from the right to the left, they are halving. This is what in mathematics is known as a geometric progression. Geometric progression is a sequence of numbers where each term after the first is found by multiplying the previous one by a fixed, non-zero number called the common ratio. The ISO scale is therefore a geometric progression with a common ratio of 2. This is important to note, as we will see that the shutter speed and aperture use scales with the same common ratio of 2.